Hey, welcome back to the Hub channel, and we're doing the new high probability short-term live trading show today, and it is New Year's. Man, it has been a great year so far, obviously. Hopefully you all have had a great new year, but we have a lot coming up in today's show. We're going to be doing a market review here with Mike. We're going to do the last show's trade, kind of go over what that was and how that turned out. We're going to be doing a sniper guidebook giveaway, which is kind of a big deal, and we're talking about that in a second. And then we'll get on to some live trades and what Mike is looking at right now in the market. Mike, get on in here. Obviously, we have the new year right now. So much going on in the market. It's been going down the last couple days. This is happening. Oh, you did the piece, the Apple, that's built into the Apple platform, actually, if you guys don't know. But that's pretty cool. That's the only thing that Apple's actually done in the last 10 years is they've done the confetti. So good thing for Apple. We're super excited about it. Hey, sorry, but I am who I am, okay? So, Mike, what is going on in the world of trading? Let's just dive right into this, man. I know that we've missed a couple of weeks. How was your last trade? What did that look like? How did that turn out for everybody?
Yeah, the Moderna trade was really a good one. Let me pull up a chart. I was going to talk a little bit about the markets. It's not much is happening right now in the markets, quite honestly. So there's not much to say. So I'm glad we're skipping that because there's tons of stuff for us to do.
The markets. Yeah, we can take a look at markets too, obviously. But yeah, let's go over kind of both those maybe. I don't know. I noticed the markets too, and I saw futures. What kind of where they were. So you can talk about that a little bit. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Let me do that just quickly. And I'm dying to talk about the Moderna trade. That was a perfect example of a snipe. This system is all about probability, using news to get probability, technical analysis. And the system is operating at about a 90% win rate over the last year and a half. It sounds absurd, but it's true. And what I want to do here is to bring this to other people, and that's why we're doing this Hub channel, this show on the Hub channel. But this is the S&P 500, and I wanted to point something out. Brandon, have you ever heard of the Santa Claus rally?
Oh yeah, I know all about that rally.
Yeah, you do. You're a trader. You know about that stuff. But this is part of it. And so the idea is that right before Christmas and just after Christmas, markets are bullish, and it repeats almost every year. I mean, you can go back historically, and generally you're going to see what happened, which is, ho, 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 the market runs up into Christmas, and then a few days later, a little higher, and then the new year happens, and the Fed comes out and says, well, same thing. We may drop rates later this year, but we are not certain. We will have to wait and see. Same story, same message. And the market said, all right, let's take a breather. The markets have come down a little bit. Futures, I can go to CNBC. I use a lot of websites to just, look around. And one of them that I like is CNBC, and it'll tell you what the futures are. So the Dow futures, oops, I didn't mean to click that. The Dow futures, this is CNBC.com. Dow futures up 0.2, yeah, flat, not much going on. Now oil's going up. Oil is going up. The reason oil is going up is because of pirates. I don't know if you heard about this one, Brandon.
This is over in the Red Sea you're talking, right? Where the pirates are ransacking all. Yeah, man, of course I've heard about this. This is crazy.
Remember that? It is crazy. And what's happened, remember that Tom Hanks movie where he was pirated? Yeah. Same. That's just what's happening. And so oil companies are not moving oil out of the Red Sea, and that's constraining supply. And so oil is up. It's a big piece of news. If you're a sniper trader, like you might be, or we do have some of my sniper community here today. If you are a sniper trader, then take a look at oil stocks. A lot of oil stocks are rising as I speak. So generally the markets are pausing. There's nothing to be concerned about, just profit taking post Santa Claus rally. All is well, no big deal. Where we go from here, I don't know. I think up, but it depends on the Fed, right, Brandon? The Fed could come out anytime and say, oh, it is worse than we thought, and we're going to leave rates alone until 25. Anything like that is possible. So expect some skittishness, but overall the trend to me is bullish across the board. Go to any index, the Dow Jones or the NASDAQ or the Russell 2000, all of them are heading in a northward direction, and all of them have had a bit of a pause. Now, let's get back to Moderna. So Moderna came out with a very positive result on one of their melanoma drugs, and it was beautiful news. It happened right here. So we timed this entry impeccably. And so we got, this was I mean, they don't get any better than this in terms of timing, Brandon. But on the day that we had our last show, that news came out and Moderna gapped up before the market even opened. And, here's the deal. So technically it's very interesting that the stocks gapped up. And so that's part of snipers. But the other part is news that's buoying up the stock. We got a great drug. It's the positive trial results. And you can see what's happened since. We didn't know that was going to happen since, but that's what happened. Now, we could have bought a call option or bought the stock and all that, but the sniper approach is to come in and just grab 10%. Just grab your 10%, safe on the, behind the lines, and grab your 10% and do that every 8 days. And if you can do that consistently on average, do the math, you could take the same money and trade it 3 times in a month. And, that's 30%. Now, I don't want to get all crazy about it, but the point is it's super high probability. So we entered the trade here. Now, I have this in tools that I use. And this is the trade that we did. We sold an 80 put at a line in the sand. Now, there's a guidebook you'll hear about in a few minutes. It's in the guidebook that's free and you can all get it. So 80 was my line in the sand, and I'm not supposed to say this word bet, so I'm not. But that the stock will stay above 80, anywhere above 80, up, sideways, or down. Coupled with the positive news on their drugs, the chances of Moderna dropping are minimal. And in fact, that's what happened. So in order to build a trade such that we make money anywhere above this 80 line in the sand, what I did was I used what's called a credit spread. So we sold an 80 put, and then we bought 2 strikes underneath. We bought the 78 put. We got 38 cents for each contract, times 100 is $38, times 3 contracts is $114 of credit that came into our account. And then there's risk in every trade, and our risk in the trade was 486, giving us a high probability chance to make northward of 20%. So that was the trade when we got in. When we got out, with our very clear exit rules, we bought the spread back for 4 cents. So we sold it for 38. We bought it back for 34 cents, 4 cents, excuse me. We bought these, let me start over. We sold it for 38 cents. We bought it back for 4 cents, and we netted over 20% on this trade in a short time, like a week. This is an exceptional one. Now, I want everybody to know how to do this, because this can change your trading life. Systematic, a little bit of complexity in the options, which is one of the reasons that we have this guidebook, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I was here when you put that trade on, it wasn't too complex the way you piled that trade on. You put that spread on, you kind of walk through that whole thing, and you told us, all Moderna needs to do is, go up kind of like it did, and it did just what you said. I know that I kind of watched the trade after you put it on that day, and I'm like, okay, good. Basically, Mike did really well. He's pretty much out of the trade by New Year's, which that's exactly what you wanted way before New Year's. So you got your fast profit from your trade, and that was a good snipe. Nice job, Mike. So what trade are you looking at coming up? What's your next trade that you're looking at for these guys? Or what are you thinking about trying to get in here at the open? We got about 4 minutes. So why don't you set that up?
I know. Yeah. You ever heard of Mobileye?
Mobileye? Is that like that all-seeing eye in the sky? No, probably not.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's like God. It's God in the sky.
Okay. Okay. The autonomous driving company, right? Is that what that is?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It
All right.
is.
Okay.
And they're owned by Intel. And so they
Oh,
just came out and said, hey, our earnings are coming up this month and they're going to be crappy. They lowered their future guidance before.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the way you said that, man. I wish you were on the. I wish you were on the call. Hey, by the way, guys, our earnings are coming up, and they're gonna be horrible. I like the way you said that. Anyway, go back. Having a good
yeah,
morning.
so they that's a, so is the stock going to rise between now and earnings with that news out? I shouldn't make so much fun of it, but I can't help it. It's possible.
You say that, Mike. You say you shouldn't make fun of it, but that's what all this is kind of too. At the end of the day, it's a kind of a game, because when we're playing with these the way we're playing these, we gotta read into that psychology though too, and just the way you take your class, just like with the Moderna trade that you put on. Obviously, you were reading into the psychology of the trade and what was going to happen, and so you have to take all this information, digest it, and figure out, what are other people going to think? What are the sheep going to think? And not calling other people sheep to be negative in any way, but that's what happens in the market. What does sheep do? What are the sheep going to do? And so, no, you're correct in saying that. So, keep going with this.
Beautiful,
this is
man.
good.
Yeah, well said, man. I like the way you frame that. That's beautiful. So here's the stock as of yesterday, and it's resting. At least yesterday, it was resting on the 200-day average. Cool. That usually holds. Did over here. It did over here until it didn't. Now the stock is trading, and I'm using the Hub software here. It's a really cool charting package that I like. And if I take you to let's go to a 30-second bar. And now where's the stock today? It's at 30. I don't see it on the chart here. Oh, all right, let me go back to a regular chart. Actually, let me go to a second chart here, a 1-minute chart. Sorry. All right, not showing up. All right, let me go back to the regular. Anyway, I'll tell you where the stock's trading. It's trading at 30. Brandon, it's down here at 30. What? It's down here at 30. So the market didn't like that. The market didn't like that news very much.
They did not like that news. It's clear down there. That's funny.
So they got taken behind the woodshed, and they're still being beaten. So with the stock at 30, it's not likely to recover too much if it does. And so the next step is to decide. Okay, now I'm going to stop trying not to panic, because I want to put this trade on. In fact, let me just do that first. I've got the trade ready to go, and then I'll come back and explain. I've got my line in the sand at 36. The stock is there. It is. It's at. Well, I said 30. It's at 28.79. And I don't think it's going to come back up here to 36. I'll come back and tell you why in a minute. And now I'm going to place the order I already have in motion, and there's no credit there. Doesn't look like. I'm going to try to get 10 cents, and it's possible. Let me try for 10 cents, and I'll come back and explain. All right. Now, part of this game is you just don't know what you can get at the market open. So I've placed a trade that will make money anywhere below 36. Why did I pick 36? This is my line in the sand. It's because it's resistance. And why is it resistance? Well, you can see over here, it was support. It was support here until it wasn't. Then it became resistance. Then it became support. Here, some peaks. I'm looking for turning points, consistent ones. Here's strong support there. And so now for the stock to get back up to 36, and it's so far down, we're probably going to have to drop it a bit. And I'll do that in a minute if necessary. But I'm going to try to get 36. If I can get 10 cents on that trade on a $1 spread, that's 11% in the next couple of weeks with super, super duper high probability of profit. Now, because it's so far down, the big gaps are a little tricky. I'm going to go back to this live broker environment. It's called Thinkorswim. I'm not recommending Thinkorswim. It is an online broker platform. It's a good platform like many others, but it does have this cool simulated trading engine. So it allows me to simulate these actions in front of you without me taking these trades. I don't take any of the trades that I broadcast. So this is one I'm going to not take and give to you. It's showing mid price at 10 cents. So I place the order. The order is, let me show you here. I've got a nifty little spreadsheet to keep you oriented. You know, this game is a fast game, and I'm having to slow myself down in order to teach. So I've got tools to help orient you as I go along. So here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sell to open the Mobileye Jan 19 36 call, and then I'm going to buy to open same stock expiration, but the strike is 37. So we're selling the 36 calls, buying the 37, and I'm trying to get 10 cents. And so this is where the game starts, right? So now we're trying to get in, and I might have to change the trade. Now it's showing 12.5 cents here. I'm asking for 10. So let me see if I can replace this order and get filled on it. Mid price is 10. The natural is 0. So we may have to drop it. So I'm going to let that sit while I talk and go back to the trade. And so now I'm saying, all right, well, how much lower am I willing to go? And again, I'm looking at support and resistance, right? So 35 is also really strong. It's 1 point lower, and that may give us a bit more credit. All right, and the stock is sort of vacillating. It's up and down. It's not really going more up or more down. It seems to bottomed out. We might get a bit of a bounce. If that happens, more credit up here. So let's try for 35. And I'm just going to drop it, the whole spread, down 1 point. And by dropping it 1 point, it gives me more credit. I got to move my Zoom stuff out of the way here. Oops, that was not the right way to do that. All right, so what I'm trying to do here is sell the 35 call and buy the 36. So just drop both strikes down 1 point, and there's no credit there either. All right, so this is the game. How low do we go? How low do we go? I was hoping for a fast fill so I could get to some student trades here. So then I'm looking at these levels here. Let's drop it a little bit more. I would say 34 is also strong resistance because it was strong support. Support. Let's go for 34, dropping it a bit more. So I started conservative, and now I'm stepping up to the heat a little bit. More credit, less probability is what that means. So let's try for 34, 35. There's 10 cents there. We should get that. I'm going to go for 10 cents and let that sit for a little bit. It's going to have to reset. And I'm not going to go any further down. You could, but it's blue sky here. There's no clear, at least recent resistance. I could check. Let's go further out. Yeah, that's as low as I want to go here. So I'm going to leave it sit there, Brandon. I'm not going to go chasing it. That's the trade I want. That's the most I'm willing to pay. And let's break this down a little bit. So you can do your own calculations. Now, this is where it gets a little bit, you have to learn it a little bit. So what we have here, back to the trade, we're selling the 34 and we're buying the 35, dropping the credit spread. That's all we did. And the width of the spread is $1. Okay? The calculations are this. You can calculate your max risk of a credit spread by taking the width of the spread and subtracting from it the credit that you receive. All right? So the credit that we're attempting to receive is 10 cents. All right? So if I can get 10 cents on a $1 spread, my max risk is the spread width minus 10 cents, which is 90 cents. So in other words, if we can make 10 cents on 90 cents, that's 11%. This is going to give us a chance to make 11% with extraordinarily high probability of profit over the next 2 weeks or so. All right. Now I positions this side. What I like to do is position, and I shouldn't say what I like to do. You should be doing portfolio allocation. And so when you do these trades, remember, you don't want to back up the truck and put half your portfolio in this trade because you know it's going to be a winner, you think. Don't do that. Take 2 to 3% of your portfolio's value, max, and risk that. That way, if you take a big loss, you still have 98, 97% of your portfolio intact. So that's the idea. And in this case, if I bought 5 contracts with 90 cents of risk, my max risk would be 450 and my max profit 50. So that is a lot. I know that's a lot, Brandon. So, we do have this guide. You know about that guide, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, on the last show and the show before. You have this guy that basically kind of trains people the trades that you're putting on, kind of goes through and walks through those trades, and I think that guide's super valuable. But tell us about that. Yeah, tell us about that guide and where to get it while we're trying to wait for this trade to fill. I'm watching this thing. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It is coming up a little bit, which is good, Brandon. It's starting to rise a bit. That's great. Go ahead and rise. You're not coming back up here. You might, but I really doubt it. It's starting to bounce a bit. We'll probably get that 10 cents. Let me check it. It's now showing 15 cents. The market makers aren't giving it to me. If you can get 15 cents, get it. 10 cents, mid price.
And so where's your line in the sand again? Show us on the chart now. Where's your line in the sand that you have set right now? Because you did originally want something and you changed that a little bit.
It's right here at 34.
Right, 34. Okay.
Yeah, so we're selling the 34 call, and that sets the line in the sand, and that's a short call, and we protect it by buying an upper call so we don't have max risk if the stock skyrockets. So that's a credit spread, and the short strike is your line in the sand. So that trade should fill, especially if the stock makes a little bit of a dead cat bounce. Now I'm saying that, but it's possible that new news comes out and the stock skyrockets. I mean, that's always a possibility, and you got to be ready for that. That's why we position size these trades. I'm going to let that sit, Brandon. I think it's got a good chance of a fill later this morning.
Oh, okay. So I think it will actually. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think what's happening right now, obviously, as well as anybody else, on market open, things get a little crazy, and sometimes the bid-ask spread is so wild that some of these things just take a second to fill. But yeah, it will. Just give it some time. Just like you said, sit with your conviction and sit where you're sitting. And we've done this the past couple of weeks when you put these trades on. Sometimes it takes a second to fill. But tell us a little bit more about that guide, where people can get it, and why they need that guide in their lives. And how much does the guide cost right now, Mike?
It's
okay.
I don't really like writing guides, but I did,
Yeah.
and it took me a whole weekend to do this. And basically, exactly what it does is walk you through systematically. We just got it. Woo woo. We're in. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But the guide will walk you through every single step. It's step by step by step. This is a credit spread. This is a line in the sand. This is how you construct. This is the max risk, the max profit. How do you manage the trades? All that stuff. So it's free. And it'll help you on this show. This is a live show. We're doing live trades. We're not recommending that you take the trades, but they're live trades that come right out of the guidebook. So you can learn this system by being here on Thursdays, as well as downloading that free guide.
Love that. Okay, Mike. So let's walk through that trade really quickly. And I think you wanted to talk about some of the other people's trades. We have quite a few people here. Some of the other people's trades here in a second.
Yeah, if you have trades, put them up. We'd love to take a look at it. What was your question?
No, you said you got that fill. Where did it fill at? It filled, right?
It filled it. There it is, right there, buddy.
Right there, 10 cents. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Filled right there, now, 10 cents. So that trade's on. Good.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one. I like it a lot. So now my mind's like all excited. Calm down.
No, calm down.
Calm down,
No, that's
Mikey.
good. That's good. If you don't, yeah, if you don't want, even if you don't want to go over that, what's your? And I know you have some people over here watching the show. What are they looking at right now? I mean,
Yeah.
I did bring up Apple at the beginning in a negative way. Did you want to talk about your face looked like it was going to explode? Did you want to talk about Apple in any way?
I do. I do. I do. I really do. I have like 8 Apple products, man. No, I got
I'm
3 Apple
sorry.
TVs. I got
Is it kind of hard sledging through life in old technology that's totally weighed down and stuck in a system that's just going to constrict your view going forward? I feel bad, but good luck with that.
no, thank you. Thank you for your graciousness, Brandon. I appreciate that. Before I
Right.
go to Apple and trades from our community here, now the most important part of this is managing the trade. And right out of the guidebook, if in this case we got filled, if the stock closes above your short strike, which is 34 in this case, you're going to lose money, and you must take it off. And I'm sounding religious about that because I am. Take your loss and move on to the next one. If you don't, and you invite faith and hope to your party, you could lose more money. Cut them when it's time to cut them. Move on. You want to get very rote about that. And then, of course, as we talked about earlier, if you can buy the spread back for 1 cent anytime, do it. Just put an order in to buy the spread back for 1 cent GTC. All right, Brandon, let's go over to Apple. I'm having some fun here, man. This is great.
Well, it might look like your screen is frozen, and I know this is live here because we're still looking at it looks like Thinkorswim platform, so it might be just your screen froze, and you need to refresh that link.
Okay.
Maybe do that really quickly, and I know what this is, and this is. And I'll explain this to you what just happened here, but this is Apple at its best. This is why and you can't make this stuff up, guys. I mean, I know that Mike is all Apple, and this is kind of just what happens when you use Apple products, but the writing's on the wall with this one, Mike. So
There's some evidence.
played into my hand. That played into my hand perfectly. Sorry.
Darn it.
Yeah. No, we're good. Yeah.
Can you see my screen now?
Let me see here.
Let me refresh VMix.
I guess not. Yeah, maybe you just refresh that whole call, basically. Sorry. Maybe nobody wants us to talk about Apple today. Maybe we don't talk about live trades today. That's what's going on. Oh, my heck. I can see.
I don't know. What?
I was just going to say, just
go ahead and flip your screen share screen over, and you should be good.
Do we have it?
No, you just got to flip your screen share over.
What does that mean?
It's connected now, but then you just got to toggle it to the screen. Yeah, exactly.
All right. How about now?
Perfect.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. You're the best, brother.
Let's rock and roll.
So we want to let me just get this done here so we can get back to Apple and the other student trades. I know we're going a bit long. Get out of the trade if the stock closes above 34. That's your short call. Don't bother thinking twice. Just take it off. Move on to the next one. 1 out of 10 will be losers. That's trading. Trading's not called fishing's not called catching. Trading's not called profiting. For that reason, so take your loss, and then also be sure to put on an order to buy the spread back for 1 cent, which is 10% of the original credit, and that will net you 9 cents, which will be around 10% on this trade, or 9% on this trade, with high probability. Now that my screen's working again, let's go back over to the hub chart here, and here's Apple. You know what, Brandon? Apple got downgraded to underweight by Barclays on.
I saw Barclays do that. Yeah, to down under. What did they go under one? It's going to drop under 180 now for sure, right?
No,
it's got to go down.
No. Well,
what?
Well,
It's
technically
going under
speaking,
180 there, Mike. I'm sorry, buddy.
but what about the 200-day average?
What about it?
It's
People are waking up to Apple, buddy.
yeah,
Although I have learned something in my history of watching Apple, you never bet against Apple. Never.
yeah. In fact, I was planning on maybe talking about Apple, and I'm like, man, I don't trust it. Apple could skyrocket anytime. Any piece of news, Apple could. I think what will happen is Apple will bounce off the 200-day average. That's what I think is going to happen, and it's either going to happen or not. So, and Brandon wants the stock to go below 180, but we'll have to wait and see. Brandon, let's take a couple of stocks from our community members.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a couple minutes here. If you guys have a stock that you want Mike to look at, by all means put it in the chat and we'll get that up here on screen. Maybe one or two stocks here. One of your top two we'll pick from the chat members.
Sure.
Might just take a second for people to get one in.
I'll talk about one while we're waiting. Xerox was one I also liked as well. Xerox, what's the news? They cut 15% of its workforce, and it tanked. And this is another good one I like. This is when they announced their news. They're cutting a lot of employees from the company, and it tanked yesterday. And now it's bounced off 116. I like it at 18. Brandon, I think a line in the sand at 18 on this one. And I'm not going to have time to build it, but imagine being able to profit anywhere below 18 with that bad news. And technically, you can see institutions hated the news, dumped the stock on high volume, and today it's bouncing a little bit off of, again, support 16. I don't see it rising back up to 18. So that's a good. If you can get a decent credit up there at 18, that would fit the sniper model.
Oh, I like that trade. So very similar to the other trades you put on. You just don't want it to go back above 18. Trades on for about a week, and you're good to go. I like that. All right. Let's look at NVO. That's our first trade that we got in here.
All right, NVO. I haven't seen this one today. Novo Nordisk.
Oh, yeah.
Let's check it out.
Good old
here.
Nordisk. Okay.
Now
Looks like
the
it's
stock. Yes, the stock is gapped up. Now I don't know why. So what I'll do is find the news, and I can do it a lot of places. This is the fastest way. I can check the news here on NVO. And let's see what the news is. The stock is gapped up on the open, and let's find out why. So I'll just check the news real quick here. The news started here. Novo Nordisk. Where am I? Oh, there we go. They're collaborating with Omega Therapeutics and Celerity for obesity. There's a drug partnership. I'm not going to read into that too much. Yeah, it's decent. I don't know. I don't really trade these kinds of relationships unless I understand the industry, and I don't know a lot about the pharmaceutical industry and how mergers and acquisitions impact and the material nature of the collaboration. So I would avoid that one. I want some simple news, man. Like
Yeah.
I
agree with you, Mike. The simple news you can trade. When you have complexity of mergers coming in, I mean, that can get sticky.
Yeah, humans they could change their mind. Oh, we're not going to collaborate now. I don't like you, and then boom, it's over because that news is not as predictable. Mobileye, who said their earnings are going to suck in a few weeks, that is news you can stand on because that's not going to change between now and earnings. All right. Any other ones?
Okay, let's take a look at ACGL, and then I have one more good one for you before we wrap this up. I know everybody's going to want to hear about it. So,
all right, I want to hear about it. ACGL. Yeah, it's been gapping up for a few days. So I would say the news probably came out here, and then it just kept on going. So we don't have to catch it on the day. So if the news is good enough, then and it has staying power, we could still come in here and sell at 55. But I want to check the news. I want really good news or really bad news. ACGL. Let's see what's up. Yeah, the insurance sector is moving up, and that's the news. Yeah, that's not enough. I like it technically. I like that the stock's above the 200-day average, but no, the news isn't dire enough or great enough. So I would avoid that one.
So probably didn't create enough premium for a spread that you want to put on. And I was going to ask you about that second and third day, since you just saw this on this chart here. How often are you ready to put a trade on second and third day out after the news? Or do you normally want to get it the day of the news?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the ideal time to take these trades is at the market open when there's feeding frenzy. Mobileye, our earnings are going to be terrible, and oh my God, the sky's falling. Option traders come in droves, and market makers are trying, like a feeding frenzy, they're trying to fill the orders. And when that happens, the IV is the implied, the premium, let's call it, is higher, and you can get better fills. And often by 30 minutes to an hour, you can sometimes take the trade off within an hour if you can catch it at the open. So, Xerox is a good example. Yesterday, if you'd caught this in the morning, you would have gotten a lot more premium than at the end of the day. But still, their premium is still in there. If I could I'll take it today. I would take Xerox today if I could make 10% up here with a credit spread. I still take it. So Brandon, the answer simply is ideally right at the open, but a few days later, still, as long as there's premium, I would go for it.
Okay, I like that answer. All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up on Tesla, TSLA. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they do electric cars.
I've heard of Tesla. It's funny. I actually drove a Tesla before I moved to Costa Rica. You don't want to get a Tesla in Costa Rica. The road.
Imagine not. The roads are you need a little bit more clear and 4 tires that can do work.
And interestingly enough, the auto. I did like the auto driving feature of the Tesla. It was freaking awesome. And then Mobileye. Mobileye doesn't impact Tesla, but Tesla's coming down. Again, you want to check the news. It's a little late. The news really started back here, and I don't remember it. I was meditating until Wednesday, but I'm going to check. Again, this is really important, everybody. News is the most important thing in the system. And there's great technical setups. You can do credit spreads without news. But if you want to amplify your probability of making 90% wins, not guaranteed, could be less, could be more, stand on news. And I'd have to look through the news here and see what recently happened with Tesla, but obviously there could be I think it was a downgrade. Do you know, Brandon? I can't remember. I've been off grid for a week.
Yeah, with Tesla, I don't know. It seems like, and this is just me, it seems like the news on Tesla is never, I don't know. Tesla's an anomaly. It's so interesting the way Tesla moves. It's like, it could get really negative news and stuff, and it could be totally fake just because so many people are out to kind of slander Elon Musk, it feels like, or one of his other companies he's doing. So I don't know with Tesla anymore. I kind of given up. But Tesla's one that's a longer term play for me. I believe in kind of the company and maybe its outfeeders on what it's doing. Elon, I don't want to bet against Elon. But yeah, these short term trades are always doable. But yeah, I don't know what happened right now. Yeah,
I don't either. Elon is a wild card. You're one press announcement conference away from a solid move in any direction.
Exactly.
And it's funny you say that, Brandon, because on Tesla, I'm very cautious. Unless the news is super dire. It's a strong company. It's now good news on Tesla, I'd be more willing to trade, but not bad news.
Right, exactly. So, you bring up a good point there. Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you so much again for dropping by. I know we went a little long, but I think it was worth it for a couple of these stocks to get in there and kind of get your insight on a couple of these chart reads, and that was valuable for us. I think for you to see how you just took a a cold chart and looked at it and checked it out for us. I kind of want to do that in the future again, Mike. I think that was really nice.
Yeah, I liked it.
Thank you. Yes, thank you all for watching. If you guys haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. That way you can watch. Mike's here every Thursday, give or take, with holidays and other things going on, but we're here every Thursday so you guys can see what's going on in the market. You can check out Mike's fast profit, high probability trades, which have been doing really good this year for all of your audience, Mike. And just thank you so much again for coming, and we will see you all in the next one.